Hey, Luke, good to see you. Today, I want to talk about lowering your estate taxes. As we know, estate taxes can put a really huge dent in the assets that we want to give to our loved ones when we pass. But if we don't plan ahead, they just may end up getting a small portion of what we had planned for, which I'm sure could be really upsetting. And estate taxes can top out at like 40%, right, for estates valued at more than $1 million. But when I think about estate taxes, estate isn't just my home, it's a lot of assets. So, what is made up with that estate?
Absolutely. I think a lot of people get into the sense of thinking of estate, my estate is just my property.
Right.
But in reality, it's going to include a lot of investable assets as well as some other factors, including, other real estate separate from your home,
Hmm.
any personal property. Obviously, investments in IRAs and 401ks are the big ones there.
Right.
And then even some life insurance, if your death benefit is not set up correctly, can be included in your taxable estate.
So, I mean, that affects a lot of people. We all
Yeah.
have one of those things that were up there, right? Um,
Yes,
can you
definitely.
just break down real quick, what is the difference in between an estate tax and an inheritance tax?
Yeah, I think these two kind of get looped together a lot, and the very simple answer is that it comes down to who is responsible for paying the tax. So with an
Hmm.
estate tax, the estate itself is responsible for paying those taxes before the assets are then transferred to the beneficiaries. In the inheritance tax, each individual beneficiary is responsible for paying their own portion of the inheritance tax after the transfer has occurred.
Okay. So, is there anything that I can be doing now to reduce my state or inheritance tax liability? Anything, any steps that I would be doing, number one, two, three?
Yeah, certainly. The first one would be gifting. This is a simple one that your beneficiaries may appreciate anyway. Some people like to give gifts because you can see, your benefit to your beneficiaries while you're still living. So that would be
Right.
one major one. If you're an individual, you can give up to 15,000 per individual. If you're married, if it's in a married estate, you can give up to $30,000 per individual. So, that can be really a nice benefit to do while you're still living.
Hmm.
The second one would be the charitable donations.
Right.
So you can set these up differently with different types of charitable trusts, but the simple one would just being making sure they're going to a qualified charity. There are two different types of charitable trust, the CLT and the CRT. If you have questions about which one's right for you, I would recommend coming in and seeing us or an attorney who does, trust planning.
Right. It
And
gets
then
complicated.
yes, it can be complicated. And then the last one there would be, just like we just mentioned, setting up a trust. So with an irrevocable trust, or sometimes you'll hear the term of an ILIT or an irrevocable life insurance trust, where you can, have your assets at an arm's length so that you can't necessarily access them easily, but it's a nice way to pass, your assets on to your beneficiaries without running into estate tax issues.
Yeah, that's good. So there are options that exist, but as you pointed out, it can be complicated, and I'm sure that there's no cookie cutter approach. So if somebody would like your help walking them through the best way to plan for lowering their estate taxes, how do they get a hold of you?
Yes, they can reach out to our website, www.eikenberryretirement.com. Each of our advisors here, we have our online scheduling system built into the website. And as always, they can call our office at 937-498-1128. We work with several different estate planning attorneys in the area.
Hmm.
And if we need to go that route, we can. Otherwise, we'd be happy to offer our advice either way.
That's great. Luke, thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.